We're live. What's up, friends? Coach Ed here.
And Coach Mike, what's up, guys?
So hopefully this is working. We will find out soon if it's not.
Yeah, hopefully you have internet.
So Mike, how'd team training go today?
Yeah, guys, we started team training this morning at halfway through the morning, if you want to call it noontime. We did our first team training class, and it was fun. We had 3 clients participate. First of all, it's just technology always has a way of creating some comedic relief. So Ed and I were in the group early, just kind of troubleshooting and making sure that the setup looked right. And then we had our first client join. So then, it's not their name, it's their husband's business's name. And so then we have to guess who it is. And then they don't know how to set up their audio. So it's just a comedic sequence of events. And then their internet wasn't working that well. So then they had to go on their phone, but they kept their husband's computer running. So then I have two shots of them, which was actually, very helpful to help coaching them. But, they're super close and they're like, I can't get this thing to work. What's happening? And, it's great. It was great. So, we troubleshot all of that, and all the other 2 clients were very patient in trying to set everything up. And the workout went great. We went through the 2 rounds of resistance training. We went into the finisher. We did 6 rounds. It was nice to set the timer for 2040 again. And then literally probably 4 seconds before the end of the workout, our power went out. We lost internet, and I got kicked out. But the other 3 clients stayed on. One of the other clients was Coach Kim. So Coach Kim, if you're watching this, thank you for hooking me up. She gave a little pep talk at the end, and she did some virtual high fives. So perfect way to end the session. That's what I would have done anyway. And then I called the clients just to let them know and thank them for participating. And Coach Sarah Cooper, I called her, and she said that she really, really enjoyed it, and that she will be back tomorrow. So I appreciate everybody being there. It was really fun.
So we have a few hellos. What's up, Frim? What's up, Stephanie Petco?
Hey, Frimmy. Oh, snap.
Catherine Ryan. Hey, boys. What's up, Kathy?
Catherine Ryan.
Well, I'm just, you got
They're
to
still
stay true
looking
to the name. This is what happens when I talk over Mike. And we also got
Did you do any sessions today? Laney.
What was that, Mike?
Did you do any sessions today?
Yeah, I had a one-on-one session this morning with one of our badass clients, June. And it was really cool to see, first of all, she's been engaged the whole time. So she also does nutrition coaching. So even when we didn't have our Zoom sessions up and running, she was at least doing something. But it's really crazy to see that just physically she's feeling a lot better. And, through the conversation the 2 of us had, it was, a combination of sleep. She's focusing on eating enough. And she's also just getting a lot of non-exercise activity. She's been walking a lot. So, it's cool to see that she was able to just be intuitive enough to notice what was making her feel better. But I'm just really pumped overall about the fact that we can be out of the gym and somebody can be making progress towards their goal.
That's a great point. One of the cool things about today's broadcast, if you'll call it that, guys, is we asked if anybody had any questions. We have 2 questions that we're going to address in between Ed's experience with June and then what our members wanted to talk about. I think today's theme of the episode is kind of being introspective and realizing what feels good and maybe what doesn't, and then making decisions that help you feel the way you want to feel. So kind of managing your life a little bit.
We have a couple more comments here. Lainey said, great small group today. Lainey, I'm pumped that you liked it. And,
awesome.
Stephanie Pecco also had an awesome small group today.
Awesome. I'm happy to hear that.
Awesome.
Are you watching, Leslie? Awesome.
Totally awesome. What did she say it was? The downfall of the bane of language, the downfall of American English language. What was it?
Something like that.
I don't read good.
So I say awesome because I don't know any other adjectives. Yeah. So one of the first questions that we got was from Mrs. Stephanie Petco, asking how do I avoid the leftover Easter cake that I'd really like right now?
Yeah, why do you want to avoid it? That's really the first question. Um, really, I've been joking around a lot that not really joking, but I ran out of tequila, and I'm staying in Pennsylvania during this interesting time, and liquor stores are closed. So I've been joking around with people saying that I'm going to start to get lean again now, or at least work towards getting lean, because there's no more tequila. But then there's Easter candy, so there's always something. I would say just really focus on getting what you feel like you should be before you focus on taking out other things. So Jenna talks about it as like green, yellow, and red light foods. So if that cake is a red light food, meaning it's going to totally throw you off the wagon and it's going to tank make you make other bad choices and put you in a bad place from a mindset standpoint and nutritionally, then throw it out. If it's something that you can have a controlled portion of, just make sure whatever else you're focusing on you get. Make sure you get enough protein or water or vegetables, whatever boxes you were trying to check.
Yeah, that goes back to that video you guys posted a while back saying, like, the thing that you have to do is the thing that you have to do. So make sure you're checking your boxes. Ed was talking about vegetables last week. I was talking about water. We've been talking about walking. Make sure you do the things that you do. And, it's something I think I mentioned in the last episode. Like, weekends sometimes get a little dicey for everybody, myself included. And so, I was sitting there on the couch, I think not yesterday, but the week before, looking at my chronometer thinking, oh man, like that was not the best, like not as much protein as I liked and a lot more fat and carbohydrates than I would have liked, even though I did enjoy them. But if you can check your boxes and then, then 1 day or 2 days isn't going to tank you. That's an important thing to remember.
So we got some other feedback from our members here in League of Shadows. Let's see. So Stephanie Petco said she ate a lot of sugar yesterday. And then Kathleen Rose Donahoe said work out twice that day. I actually don't mind people working out more when they want to eat a little more food. Like if you're going to work out more, general guideline we would tell you would be to eat more. Just be careful that it doesn't put you in a place where you start to think you have to earn food. So like if you just have the ability to be extra active that day, that's fine, as long as it doesn't put you in a bad headspace.
Yeah. I mean, I think last Thursday I was feeling a little bit stressed, and then I still worked out, and then Friday I felt a little bit on edge, and there's been times where maybe it's not like the best idea to work out, but I still feel like I need to. And then it can not only do you feel like you might have to earn food, because I understand that feeling too, but sometimes it can just put you in in a stressful position, like anxiety.
Yeah. I don't know if I said Kathy Ryan's yet, but she said throw it in the garbage. Steph Petco says thanks, that makes sense.
So crazy.
Something we said makes sense.
Yeah. The idea of throwing out food is such a weird thing.
It is. Like my stepfather always said that we had to be part of the Clean Plate Club, and I think most of our clients and we're all either grew up in a generation where there wasn't their parents lived in a time where there wasn't enough food, or in my situation, my parents' lived in a time there wasn't enough food. So we've just been taught that you can't waste anything. You got to find a balance. You don't want to be wasteful, but if eating that food is going to make you feel like garbage, it probably is being wasteful. Frim says, miss you guys. She's at work every day, and she can't wait to get a workout on Zoom. We can't wait to see you there.
Heck yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool. Stephanie Petco's grandfather was Clean Plate Club as well. It's a cool club.
Yeah.
It also made me have fat knees when I was a kid, so I'm happy I'm not trying to be in it anymore. All right, so that was Stephanie Petco. Did we have any other comments, Mike?
Mr. Lou Rafael Martinez. Hey, guys, can you discuss breathing during exercise, please? When to inhale versus when to exhale during certain exercises, and when it's okay to exhale out of your mouth versus out of your nose.
Which part do you want to take, Mike?
I'll take the first one.
Okay.
So when to exhale versus when to inhale. it's such a weird thing. Kind of have to be in the moment, but the way that I think of it is when are you exerting the most force, and that's when you want to exhale. So I don't know if you want to think of it before you go into the exercise, like what's the hardest part? Some examples. Think about like squat is the first one that comes to my mind. Like the hardest part is getting out of the bottom, right? So you're going to breathe in on the way down and exhale as you come out of the bottom part. Think about a swing is another good example. Like when are you exerting the most force? You're exerting the most force when you're pushing through the ground to find your lockout. So you're exhaling and finding that pressurized breath. You think about that, and then you like kind of, those are the same breathing pattern. Then you think of like kind of the reverse a little bit when you row. That's where people get a little bit backwards sometimes. They'll inhale on the way up and exhale on the way down. Again, the hardest part is the pulling part of it. So you're exhaling on the pull, inhaling on the way back down. I don't know if they're like, that's the only way that I can really describe it without physically being there, is like you're going to exhale on the part where you have to exert the force, or where it's the hardest.
Another way to think of the same thing, so Mike's 100% right, is what's the part that you might not be able to do, right? So like what's the part that gravity would win? So on a row, gravity is going to pull the weight down, and if you don't have it, if it's too heavy of a weight, you're not going to be able to pull it up. If somebody puts a weight here, you're always going to be able to drop it down. In a squat, you're always going to be able to go from the top to the bottom. You're not always going to be able to go from the bottom to the top. So, of course, Mike says it in a way that makes sense. I say it in a way that mentions gravity. Hopefully it helps people.
Yeah.
Let's see. Stephanie Pecco thinks that Lou asked a great question. There are no dumb questions, but there obviously are great questions. So, well done, Lou. Second part of this. Let's see. When is it okay to exhale out of your mouth versus your nose? So, this is going to be a little bit of a tough one just because certain exercises can actually be done for different purposes. So think of more the purpose of the exercise. So if you're thinking of more of a restorative movement, I want the inhale and exhale to be in and out the nose. So the tricky part there is you can have a back lunge that's a strength move. You can have a back lunge that's a restorative movement. So I don't know if we're going to be able to see this, but if you're doing if we're doing a back lunge where you're just doing a tap to the opposite knee and maybe marching up, I would want that to be more of a restorative movement. So you should be breathing in and out the nose. Whereas if you're doing a strength move, like a max lunge with a sandbag or a heavy kettlebell lunge or split squat, you would be exhaling out the mouth during that harder portion of the movement like Mike just said. So really, some moves can be done for different purposes. So first thing is to pay attention to the purpose of the movement. The next thing is just, I want people to breathe in and out the nose whenever they can. So unless you're doing a more dynamic like power movement. So I would never say breathe in and out the nose for a kettlebell swing. But breathe in and out the nose for as long as you can in a strength movement, and then use the exhale on the way out, unless you're looking at a power movement or a really heavy, closer to max load that you need to use more pressurized breathing for.
Yeah, that's a good way to think of it too, the intention of the movement, because Coach Fury gave me crawl, like a continuous crawl. So it was like 8 minutes or 10 minutes or 12 minutes of continuous crawling, and you had to stop the timer anytime you got tired or you were going to start to breathe out of your mouth. So he used the technique or the idea of breathing in and out of the nose as a self-limiting governor of the movement. So, as an example, in contrast, Coach Janine's son trains with us, and I just give him like a 8-minute crawl just to torch him a little bit, and I don't really care if he breathes out of his nose. But like if we were trying to make it, like, I think this was probably after some heavy clean and press work, so we're going to check some other boxes in terms of programming. Maybe we're thinking more horizontal push, right? Horizontal push position. So for Fury to work that in, but contrast the heavy load and the heavy toll on the nervous system through the clean and press, breathing in and out of the nose with the crawl, even though it's a lot of work and it's difficult, breathing in and out of the nose is going to force me to stop when I need to, as opposed to just crawling to get it done.
Yeah, and to Mike's point, if you're so we talked about the intention in the movement, but part of the intention in the movement is what effect are we trying to have on the nervous system.
Yeah.
So the really cool way, like I love how Coach Fury programs because he's a master instructor in a lot of the big systems that drive some of like what we believe in. And the more experienced coaches just take those complicated concepts and just make them, implement them in a really simple way. So what Mike's saying is you have those heavy clean and presses. Even though we're not like over gripping the sandbag or over gripping the bell, there's still more nervous system load. So by offsetting that with a crawl or a skip or any other movement where you're purposely breathing in and out the nose, it's going to contrast the input on the nervous system. So it's going to allow you to have more continuous movement without putting you in a place that you put too much stress on the body.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a great question.
It is a great question. I was excited about it, but Stephanie Pecco, you were right. Lou wins the question award for today. Yeah, so
Your cake question was good.
What's that?
I said her cake question was good, though.
I have a question for you, Stephanie Pecco. What kind of cake was it?
I will say I saw Kathleen Rose Donahoe's cake pictures that her daughter did. First of all, she's getting really big. And secondly, it looked super delicious. It looked like there was a lot of coconut on there. I saw Elizabeth Pollard. She did a carrot cake yesterday. Love carrot cake.
Yeah, respect. So if you're still here, Steph, let us know what kind of cake, because I may change my recommendation and just say eat it no matter what. Mike, any parting thoughts?
No, looking forward to, well, first of all, just to tie together, pay attention to what feels good and what doesn't, right? So thinking about Steph's question about how do I avoid eating the cake? Like, take a look at the boxes that you need to check. And if you've checked the boxes and the food in question isn't going to send you on a path of, not being able to slow down and keep eating it, indulge and enjoy yourself and don't feel guilty about it. In terms of what Lou said, what breath feels good for you in the exercise? Obviously, it's a little bit more complex than that, but what's the intention of the movement, and then how do you match the breath to that intention? Going back to what feels good and what are we trying to accomplish? After that, I'm looking forward to seeing Mary Marsh and Kathy Castro and Wilson Castro and Michelle Romano tonight at 5:15.
Awesome. And just to go back onto the most important thing we talked about today, the cake. Stephanie Pecco said bunny cake. I'm going air quotes because she put quotes. Cake shaped like an Easter bunny, golden vanilla. And apparently Kathleen's daughter's cake had homemade white frosting on it.
Nice.
Just saying. Friends, we appreciate any of you that hung out while we were social distancing our training and nutrition conversation. And appreciate any of you that take the time to watch this later. We're going to be trying to go live 4 to 5 times a week. Just to continue the conversation, we're going to be putting this in our private Facebook group, our RD League of Shadows. If we get to the point that we feel we are articulate enough and bring enough value, we may put it out there on the interwebs. So thank you for hanging out with us, and we miss you guys.
Yeah, totally. Miss you guys.